on the phone. It is a pleasure to welcome back to the program political satirist, activist, and Democratic running for in the Democratic primary against Andrew Cuomo for governor of New York State, Randy Credico. Randy, welcome back to the program.
Hey, thank you. It's a real pleasure to be back on the show. I had a lot of people heard it the last time, and we almost won the election. We were just a few million short of beating Bill de Blasio.
So you were just a few million short.
Well, you know what? We actually did very well in the Democratic primary against de Blasio and everybody else. We got, without spending any money, we got 2.5%, which I beat out some career hack politicians that were in the same race. So. I did okay, and I suspect a lot of people are listening to this today, and perhaps we can get them out there and defeat the conservative Democrat, Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. I mean, I have certainly spent a considerable amount of time talking about Andrew Cuomo, who has been I don't know if it's fair to even say that he has been a disappointment. But
generous.
Yes.
Generous.
Well, it's generous both because one, I think going into this, people definitely were very leery of this guy. He ran first time on attempting to basically crush unions, and
right.
But that said, he also ran on saying that it was an incredibly high priority for him to bring in a publicly funded elections, and I think people have been surprised both by not just his unwillingness to do that, but also his economic policies have been arguably to the right of George Pataki's.
Absolutely, on just about everything on George Pataki. Remember, he ran in 2002. Against Carl McCall, who was the back then he was the treasurer, the controller, and he got hammered. He had to actually drop out of the race, and he latched onto a movement I was at the top of back then, which was reforming or repealing the Rockefeller drug laws, which I won't spend a lot of time talking about here, but they were very racist and draconian. And so he parachuted in. And I was the only one that never trusted him. I was around the guy for 2 years. I knew it was all about him, and he was cynically getting involved in something. Because remember, his father, who was considered a progressive because of a speech he made in '84, that when Mondale was nominated, his father built 37 prisons. When in his we had 33, and when we had 70 suddenly, or 69. But he built 37 prisons, mostly upstate, where they just shifted black humanity from New York City up there, and then were counted in the census, and everyone got jobs. And so Andrew was his chief of staff at that time. So I was always a little nervous around, not nervous, but with the jaundiced eye look at this guy. And I got to know him really well. And I was not expecting him to do much when he became governor. He didn't ever mention the Rockefeller drug laws again. They were moderately changed in 2004 and 5, but just moderately changed. And he never mentioned it ever again. And I had a meeting with him last year in his office, and I've known the guy for a long time, about clemencies. There's still a lot of people who did not get clemencies or get their sentences reduced as per the 2004 changes in the Rockefeller drug laws. And Andrew had a shot to give these guys clemencies. These guys just fell in the cracks, and he didn't do none. 3 years. Remember, George Wallace, Lester Maddox, Orville Farbus, all of these guys gave out clemencies to blacks and whites. The Southern Dixiecrats gave out. He hasn't given out one. Not one.
Wow.
And the 3 years that he's been there, there have been no changes in the criminal justice code in New York. Prison conditions are, Brewbakerish, and it's really, it's horrendous. He's actually made misdemeanors a DNA collectible offense. If you jump a turnstile, you get your DNA swab now. And over and over again, he's had a new war on cigarettes, these illegal cigarettes, because we have a regressive cigarettes tax in the state of New York where it's $14 a pack because he won't tax Wall Street. Once again, Wall Street has not paid any state tax on the sales tax. They repealed it, or they get the money right back. They get the money in, and then they get right back. And so instead of
you can talk about the estate tax. We can talk about his pushback on the millionaire's tax. He's got a plan now for property taxes, which will cap property taxes, and the state makes up the difference the first year, but the second year, if municipalities and communities have not essentially engaged in an austerity program, they go down the drain essentially on this.
Right.
And so this is a
huge
giveaway.
You hear what he says? He already says he calls it too much government. Yeah, I know. That's a very good point that you brought up. You should be my policy guy, because I don't even bring that up, but that's true. That's what happens if they don't have an austerity program on the taxation. Absolutely. But you got to take a look. Now, you know, because I've seen you on television talking about him. A lot of people have been fooled for a long time because of the cynical passage of same-sex marriage by him. I mean, which is a good thing. But the reason why he doesn't have a gay or lesbian within 5 miles of his office. All right. He remember in 1974 when he was running his father's campaign against Koch, he said he's going to put out something vote for Cuomo, not the homo. All right. And Koch never forgave him for that. Not that I'm a big Koch fan. And when you take a look, it's all white men. As the old saying, the Cuomo administration's like the Rockies. The higher you go, the wider it gets, and it's all men in that office. No one black or no lesbian, no gay. And so he did that. He raised a lot of money, and then that became kind of like he bluffed everybody into thinking he was progressive at that point.
Well, I mean, I think
you didn't buy it. You didn't buy it, and Ari Melber didn't buy it.
This is a split. I mean, this is something that we've talked about in this program quite a bit. He has been, and frankly, at the end of the day, I don't care what's in Andrew Cuomo's heart. Marriage equality is a good thing. It should definitely, obviously, we should be having it at the very least in New York State as well as around the country.
Of course.
And the same thing.
Of course, I agree.
Same thing with the SAFE Act. But at the end of the day, this is a much bigger fight than just New York State. This is a fight for how Democrats are going to function across the country. And the bottom line is, if Andrew Cuomo can get the margin of victory that he wants in this election to become a national figure, some people say it's just a little bit more than what his father got, somewhere around 62, 65%. If he can win with that, he becomes a national figure, the same thinking that Chris Christie had. And the bottom line is, the question is, are Democrats, are progressives going to say it's okay for you to be a liberal when it comes to social issues, and it's okay for you to become a conservative when it comes to taxation issues, austerity issues, when it comes to privatization of public schools. Exactly. Yes. Ken Langone shows up with a big stack of money, and all of a sudden, Andrew Cuomo believes that governments should function to basically aid and abet the charter movement, whatever that is.
Absolutely. He is the face of the charter movement right now. Those are my biggest supporters, by the way, I get more emails and tweets from teachers in this state, public school teachers. I went to a public school in California. It was all great, and then, of course, it was ripped apart by the Jarvis Act or whatever. They took away property tax on most rich people. But I went to college at Mount Sac University for a couple of years. So, I'm a big supporter of public education. And Andrew Cuomo is a big supporter of charter schools, a lot of money in it. And you mentioned Ken Langone. What about the Koch brothers? The biggest, no Democrat got more money than him. He got more money from the Koch brothers than Rick Scott got. He got $87,000 in 2011, 2010, $87,000 from the Koch brothers.
Well, there's a lot of pipelines that have got to go through New York State, I guess. And
certainly, and there's going to be some fracking going on as soon as he's reelected. Al D'Amato is his number one bunder of money. What does that tell you? Al D'Amato And then you have Letwin. You have this guy Leonard Letwin, who $900,000. He circumvented the cap at 55,000 somehow, and he also gave $900,000 to Senate Republicans. Remember, he controls the state Senate. He's campaigned and got money to Senate Republicans. He does not want Democrats running the Senate.
That's right, and he has been. I think he was actually fairly public about his job was not to promote a Democratic Senate. So all right, so you're running.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Obama was out there promoting Mitch McConnell?
Right.
That's basically what's happened here. If Obama went out there to whatever state against Harry Reid, that's support of the Republicans. That is what he has done here. And even though Democrats control the Senate, there's 4 or 5 that have broken off and joined with the blessing of Andrew Cuomo, this independent Democratic caucus, and they caucus with the Republicans. And the Republicans, Dean Skelos, runs the Senate.
Yep. You're absolutely right.
It's amazing. It's just amazing. And Andrew Cuomo manipulated all of this.
Yes, I mean, I think it's pretty clear if you follow what's going on in Albany. This is we have the state government that Andrew Cuomo wanted. Now, so let me ask you this: you're running for the Democratic primary. The Democratic convention happened. What was, I guess, last week?
Yeah, the last couple of days. I was booted out of there.
Oh,
and I was booted out. I went in there, and I was the only one to wear an anti. There was no enthusiasm for him, by the way. You know what we call Andrew Cuomo's coalition? We call it his. It's not Democrats, not Republican. I actually call it a transactional center, because it was all these guys, and that's the new term for guys like him. Transactional center. It doesn't matter your ideology. It's all about money. Who gets the contracts on the bridges, the Buffalo Bill Stadium, whatever, the people that put the money in. Big Pharma, a lot of money. Guess what? Medical marijuana is still not happening in this state.
I think that's a very good point. I mean, and people try and sort of divine what Andrew Cuomo is thinking about if he wants to have any type of national future in running, and I should say governing. He's not Paul Ryan, but Paul Ryan doesn't have the power that he has. Who knows? I mean, this guy is governing like a fairly conservative Republican when it comes to things like taxes, bragging about how corporations don't have to pay taxes for 10 years. And we have cut all sorts of social services in this state. He is privatizing things left and right. So let me ask you this. So
that's him. Lloyd Blankfein's a big supporter of Andrew. He wants to get rid of the bank tax, okay? The bank tax. I don't know if he is running nationally, why would he think that these are popular issues to be promoting out there?
Why do you think he thinks that? I mean, is it just simply because, I mean, he must have some political ambition beyond just raising $35 million in New York State. I mean, is this guy just tone deaf as to what's going on in this country? I mean, we've now seen 2 polls that have come out showing that if a candidate from the Working Families Party challenges him in the general election, they will take 20% of the vote. Now, it's an unnamed candidate.
24, up to 24 now.
You don't know who that candidate would be, obviously, if you look at that poll. But nevertheless, the bottom line is he must realize that whatever his strategy is not working. I mean, what accounts for this, in your opinion?
Okay, well, first of all, today, another blunder that he made is that he made one yesterday. The woman that's running as his lieutenant governor, Hochul from upstate, became very popular or well-known upstate because she opposed Elliot Spitzer's driver's licenses for illegal immigrants.
Right.
Okay, which made her popular with conservatives, and she's got 100% NRA rating. All right, so he brought a woman in, thinking that women are just going to flock to her because she's a woman. Okay, that's how stupid this. That was a bad move. And then today he took the endorsement silently because it's Memorial Day weekend. They did it just a few minutes ago before the show started. He took the endorsement of the Independence Party. All right, and that quietly went into the Board of Elections up in Albany. This is the kind of, he said, hey, I don't care, Working Families Party, where are you going? Well, the Working Families Party is probably going to endorse him because you've got some guys there who make a lot of money as executive director and as the political director. They've been there from the very outset for 14 years. It's like you're there, it's their job. This is to run that, and they're not leaving. And they've got to worry about patronage jobs for some of their friends. When Andrew's reelected, they'll get nothing out of it. Once again, transactional stuff here.
Well, no, wait a second. Now, here's how I read what's going on with the WFP,
okay,
because I'm not as cynical as you are about them. And I mean, they
I like them. Oh, wait a second. I like them. They're nice. They're great. They're great guys. I know a lot of Dan Canner, and I understand you got to be pragmatic in these matters. And I think before I bury myself with them, I'm not saying that. I do believe they'll endorse Cuomo. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think the dilemma that the Working Families Party has is that they have that most of their strength comes from their union alliances, and you are right. This is about transactions, but it's about Cuomo has been quietly trying to make amends with some of these unions on a very transactional basis, and so it leaves the Working Family Party in a position where the way that they drive votes generally is with the help of their union allies, and they don't know if they're going to have those union allies. I guess we're going to know.
I said pragmatism here. They want to keep their ballot. You need 50,000 votes to maintain your ballot line. All right, so they are in a catch-22. If they endorse Cuomo, Cuomo will tell the unions, the quid pro quo, you guys all vote for me through the Working Families Party, okay? Since they've endorsed me. Right. If they don't endorse him and the unions are upset, where do they go? Well, they can go to Cuomo on the Democratic line, most likely, or they go to the Green Party. This is a big opening for the Green Party if they had any structure. The problem with the Green Party, they have no structure in the state of New York. It's disorganized. So
I was going to ask you about that. That's Howie Hawkins is running, I believe, right? And
he's a good man, but they don't have any statewide organization. They should. They just got their ballot line again. I helped them with Al Lewis in 1998. I ran his campaign for governor. He got 52,000 votes, Grandpa Al Lewis. And then they lost it. Now they got it. Hopefully they can get it. And, you got to think, where do you go from here with it? You got to keep building and building. Otherwise, it's just a static operation.
All right. So let me ask you this. So you run for the Democratic primary. When does that give us a timeline here? Because I know.
Okay, here's what's going on. I have, since he was nominated this week at the convention, I have to petition my way on it. And I will be in a joint petition with some people running for state assembly and state senate. And judicial nominees. What I will be doing is I will, after that, have about a 10-week window to go one-on-one with Andrew Cuomo, one-on-one in a primary. Nobody else is running. When I ran for mayor, there were 9 people running, one-on-one with him, and really air out the issues that you so finally articulated today, cogently articulated today, besides what I threw in. You really have a pretty good beat on this guy. I've seen you, that guy, Ari Mel, was his name, were some of the early ones that weren't tricked by some of the specious statements that he made a couple years ago.
So what's it take to get you on the ballot? Will you petition?
15,000 signatures. I got 20,000 running signatures when I ran for mayor.
Wow.
I have a longer period of time. I got another week. Back then it was 35 days. Now we got 42 days. I've got more money, and I've got more people committed statewide. So I do have to spend beginning next Thursday. And it's a grueling summer, physically detrimental process. But we're going to do it. A lot of people are excited, particularly those in the black community that I'm closely aligned with in the criminal justice arena.
All right. So do you have where can people go if they want to get more information on your challenge, your Democratic challenge to
Cuomo2010.no. I'd go to Credico, Credico2014.com or Credico2014.
Well, .com is good.
Not .com or the other one, .org. So, and, Credico2014 at Gmail, but you can go to that website, Credico2014.com, and you can see our bare bones, beautiful website. But all of the issues are laid out there. This is not about me, by the way. See, he was going to run unopposed. This is what bothers me. He was going to run unopposed. And with nobody, challenging him. Is he the face of the Democratic Party? Unfortunately, he's becoming the new face of the Democratic Party. And the Working Families Party, they're staying with him. This is like a point in time when the Whig Party broke away from the old Democrats, the Working Families Party. Maybe I can inspire them to choose somebody in the coming week other than Andrew.
Yeah, and just to keep, so people understand that next weekend or the 31st or the 30th or sometime around then is 30th, the Working Families Party convention, and it's unclear from what I've read as to whether or not they're going to actually endorse Cuomo or run really for the first time, at least on a race this big, obviously.
I think it's a great opportunity, Sam. Remember how the Republicans broke away from the Whigs in 1854, and it was 1850 with John Fremont, I think. And the same thing when the Whigs broke away from the old Democrats and they became a little more progressive. This is their moment to not be a handmaiden for the Democratic Party, or a tugboat, as it were, for the Democratic Party. This is a moment in history to move the party, move the direction of New York State is the Empire State. We're supposed to be a progressive state.
Right. You're right.
Right?
No, you're absolutely right. I couldn't agree with that sentiment more. I mean, it's a great opportunity for New Yorkers not just to send a message to Andrew Cuomo, but frankly to Democrats across the country and any other people from New York State who intend to run for president in 2016.
We should have Elizabeth Warren here right now instead of an Andrew Cuomo. That's the kind of person we should have. Now, I am basically the McGovern. I voted for McGovern in '72, my first vote. We don't have that here. Nobody's challenging the Lyndon Baines Johnson Democrat. We don't have a Eugene McCarthy or a Bobby Kennedy that's challenging George McGovern, the status quo, which is Andrew Cuomo, and he really is. You know what I heard from his chief of staff the other day? It made me sick. He says, you know what Andrew and I think? We think that Ed Snowden should be extradited to the United States, tried and sent to prison for the rest of his life. That's his mentality.
Right. All right. Well, listen, Randy, now I typically get a movie selection from my guests on a Friday, and I know which one you're going to recommend, and I'm going to double recommend it because I've seen it. But tell me what you're going to recommend.
You're going to have to tell me which one. I haven't seen anything since the start of this election. I really have not.
The documentary about you.
Oh,
Kite
he's spinning around the sun. No, I actually have a better one than that, okay, because I watched TCM religiously. I saw one with Ben Mankiewicz, had one the other day called We Live Again. It's based on the Resurrection by Tolstoy and a screenplay by Thornton Wilder and by Preston Sturges. It is called We Live Again, and it stars Frederick March and this wonderful woman by the name of Anna Sten, who I had never heard of. A Goldwyn brought her here. She was a big flop, but she was a great actress, but she wasn't the next Garbo. What a great film. If you get a chance, see We Live Again. Or Nana, but Anna Sten.
All right, We Live Again, but I also want to plug, I think I did it last time you were on, 60 Spins Around the Sun. You can actually watch it on YouTube, and it was a documentary that the comedian Laura Keitlinger made, I think it was back in the early 2000s, 2003 or so.
Yes. She started in 1996. I was running a real bad decision campaign for Jimmy Hoffa Jr. Strong men have weak children, as Andrew Cuomo has proved, along with Jimmy Hoffa Jr. and Frank Sinatra Jr. But it's 60 Spins Around the Sun by Laura Keitlinger, great performer, a great director, and it's on. It was on Netflix for about 12 years, and they kicked it off, and now you can get it on YouTube. But it's all about, the issues that I'm concerned about. These are issues. My father did 10 years in prison before I was born. It had a huge impact on me. Dostoevsky said you can judge a society. This is judge a society by the paraphrasing by the shape of their prisons. Our prisons are in bad shape, and there are too many of them. We have 2.5 million people in prison. It doesn't do a person any good. They're for Hannibal Lecters and John Wayne Gacy's. They're not for people that have dime bags of cocaine or jump over turnstiles.
Randy Credico, thanks so much for your time today, and we will link.
Randy Credico Jr., by the way. I'm the other one, weak child. No, it's not Randy. It's Randy Credico.
We will.
Anyway, keep up the good work. I love your show, and I'm glad. The reason why I really want to be on the show this week is I've been listening to you talk about Andrew Cuomo, and you were ahead of the curve on it. All right, so keep up the the smart stuff. Thanks a lot there,
Appreciate
Sam.
it.